What's good, fam? What we just witnessed in Toronto, that ain't just a bad week for Drake. That ain't just a city having fun with the diss track. That was the death of the sixth god live on stage. Drake didn't just take an L, he lost his country. Kendrick Lamar came through and did something in the heart of Drake's kingdom that nobody ever thought was even possible. And now, we're looking at what might be the official end of Drake's entire run. Because this, right here, this moment, it wasn't about charts. It wasn't about streams. It was about legacy. It was about power. And it was about the fact that Drake's own city picked Kendrick. Loud, proud, unapologetic, on not just one night, but two. And the chants of "Not Like Us" in the Rogers Center weren't just fans having fun. That was a funeral chant. That was 40,000 people telling the world that the man who said he ran the six don't run nothing anymore. This ain't no light jab. This ain't rap gamesmanship. This is some Tupac playing hit 'em up in New York type energy. And let's be real, that never even happened. Because New York wouldn't have it. The South wouldn't have it. The West wouldn't have it. Never in hip hop history have we seen a moment where a rapper's own home base flipped on them this hard for their biggest rival. This is like if Nas got booed in Queensbridge while Jay-Z performed Takeover. This is like if Biggie got clowned in Brooklyn while Snoop walked through with New York, New York. This shit don't happen. Until now. Until Drake. And that's why this is bigger than beef. Bigger than Kendrick versus Drake. This is about a city stripping its icon in real time and giving that crown to the man who came from the other side. Drake told y'all for years that he was the face of the six, the mayor of Toronto, the one who put the city on the map. He named albums after it, made merch around it, held OVO Fest like it was a national holiday. He turned himself into the global mascot for Toronto. But now, that same city cheered while Kendrick stomped all over his grave. And the craziest part, they didn't even hesitate. People talk about loyalty in hip hop like it's automatic. Like if you from somewhere, they're gonna ride for you. But Toronto just broke that entire model. Because Kendrick ain't just get love, he got worship. Fans went crazier for Not Like Us than they ever did for a Drake song. The Rogers Center was lit like it was a championship parade. And Drake wasn't even invited. And you can't fake that kind of reaction. You can't buy it. You can't PR spin it into something else. That was raw, authentic, citywide betrayal. This wasn't just a couple haters in the crowd. This was the crowd. This was the whole building, chanting Kendrick's lyrics, smiling while he took shots, celebrating his every move. And for Drake, that ain't just an L. That's humiliation on a level most rappers never survive. The only other time we've seen something this symbolic in Toronto was when LeBron James turned the city into Lebronto. And even that felt temporary, like a basketball moment. But this is culture. This is identity. Kendrick Lamar didn't just walk into Toronto and get a win. He rewrote the map. He made people look at Drake and say, "You're not the one anymore. He is." And that's the type of shift you don't come back from easy. Because once your own people flip, the rest of the world sees the green light to do the same. And make no mistake, the industry saw what happened. Artists saw it, labels saw it, rappers around the world saw it. If Drake's own city ain't rocking with him no more, who really is? And what's wild is, this ain't even the beginning of the fall. This is the collapse finally hitting the bottom. Drake been slipping. We've been seeing it. The gimmick's been louder than the music. The distraction's been louder than the bars. But he still had Toronto, still had that bass, still had that symbol. And now, that's gone. They didn't just stop cheering for Drake. They started celebrating his enemy. And that flips the whole script. That's why this moment is so deadly. Because Kendrick ain't even have to beg for the city. They gave it to him. And when we come back into the next phase of this thing, we're going to break down how Drake tried to fight back and failed. How his new track with Smiley flopped so bad it looked like a joke. How the city ignored his release entirely while Kendrick kept dominating the charts. And how Drake might not just be washed, he might be done. Real quick, if you still watching and feeling this breakdown, hit that like button so more people see just how wild this downfall really is. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're not even halfway through and it gets way worse for Drake from here. Trust me. So look, while Kendrick was up there on that Rogers Center stage, turning the whole building into a Not Like Us riot, guess what Drake was doing? He was trying to buy back love with a Smiley collab. Yep, bro really thought dropping a new track gun and video with Smiley was gonna remind Toronto, hey, I'm still one of y'all. Like fam, who even asked for that? Drake called it Tumaza, a record that was supposed to be a gift to his city. A little look what I did for you moment to distract from Kendrick running laps around him. He even dropped the video to go with it. The whole thing had OVO damage control written all over it. But here's the thing, nobody cared. Let me say that again, nobody cared. Drake dropped a song in the middle of a cultural earthquake, and the entire city left him on red. It didn't trend, it didn't move the charts, it didn't shift the conversation even an inch. And that's scary, because Drake used to be the guy who could drop a 2-second Instagram story and the whole internet would stop what they doing to analyze it. Now, he dropped a full record and couldn't even get a response. That ain't just a flop, that's a warning shot. That's a louder siren saying, bro, they don't rock with you no more. And Smiley, bless his heart, but that collab only made things look worse. This is the artist Drake keeps trying to put on to prove he supports his city. Come on, let's keep it a buck. Smiley sound like somebody doing a bad impression of Cardi over a beat made on Fruity Loops. That man got no momentum, no bars, no presence. Drake giving him cosigns don't uplift the six, it embarrasses it. So now you got Drake teaming up with one of the least respected rappers in Toronto, dropping a song that got ignored, while Kendrick Lamar is packing stadiums, breaking streaming records, and getting love from the same crowd Drake used to own. It's like watching a king throw a parade for himself and nobody show up. But it gets even uglier when you zoom out and see the pattern, because this ain't just one flop. This is the consequence of a whole decade of fake leadership. Drake been claiming the six like it's a badge, but what has he really done for the music scene out there? He don't break new artists like Kendrick do. He don't uplift his region like Nipsey did. He don't build platforms like Jay did for New York or like Wayne did for New Orleans. Drake used Toronto for the aesthetic, the memes, the nicknames, the branding. But the second you look past the surface, there's nothing under it. Ask yourself, how many artists from the six really blew up under Drake's wing? Party Next Door got shelved. Smiley's been memed into oblivion. Roy Woods disappeared. Majid Jordan out of here. Like, bro, this man had a whole decade to build a Toronto dynasty and somehow left the scene weaker than he found it. Meanwhile, Kendrick put out one album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and filled it with only West Coast artists. That's what real leadership looks like. And now fans in Toronto seeing that. They're watching Kendrick do for Compton what Drake never did for the six, and they switching sides in real time. Loyalty only lasts when it's earned. So while Drake over here handing out OVO hoodies and cold pizza, Kendrick is building legacy. While Drake posting IG pics trying to look unbothered, Kendrick letting the music in the city speak for itself. It's not even about diss tracks anymore. It's about who's leading the culture and who's just trying to survive it. And the numbers don't lie either. The Tumors track didn't just underperform, it straight up tanked, barely charted, no buzz, no momentum. Meanwhile, Kendrick's songs from months ago are surging again in Canada, and that's the craziest part. The fans ain't even waiting for new music. They celebrating old songs like they just dropped yesterday, because it ain't about new versus old, it's about real versus fake. And now Drake's fans got nothing left but delusion. The OVO pizza party crowd really out here saying Drake's fans let him down, that the reason he's losing is because Toronto fans are ungrateful. Like, bro, what? How you gonna blame the whole city when your favorite rapper's the one that disconnected from them? Drake didn't just lose the crowd, he failed them. Failed to lead, failed to uplift, failed to give them something real. And now that they picked Kendrick, you want to say the city's the problem? Nah, this on Drake. This on all the clout moves, the fake support, the corny signs talking about, I run the six. You don't run shot, fam. You fumbled it. And what's coming next? We're going to get into that. Because the back third of this story is the part that's going to sting the most. We're going to break down how Drake's Mayor of Toronto image was always a cosplay, how Kendrick's legacy moves been exposing Drake's ego, and why this might actually be the end. So now here we are, the dust settling, the crowd's going home, and the reality setting in. Drake has been evicted from the six, evicted by the very same people he'd been claiming to represent since day one. And it's not even a debate, it's not a Twitter hot take, it's history. Think about how wild this is. Drake, the so-called sixth god, lost his own city to a man from Compton. This ain't just a minor ill, this is legacy damage. This is the type of moment that sticks when people tell the story of your career in 20 years. People won't remember Tumaza, they won't remember the pizza party, they're gonna remember the night Kendrick stood on that Rogers Center stage and made Toronto sing along to the song that ended Drake's run. And it's crazy, because if you rewind even just 5 years ago, this moment would have sounded impossible. Drake was untouchable. Global numbers, meme dominance, constant hits. He had the world in his hands. But somewhere along the way, he stopped building with people and started playing the game like a solo act. All gimmick, no guidance, all status, no soul. Drake been wearing the sixth god crown like it's a Halloween costume. All this time he been cosplaying as the face of Toronto, but now that the people see through it, he ain't got nowhere to hide. Kendrick ain't just beat him in lyrics. He beat him in integrity, in leadership, and connection. Look at how Kendrick handled his own people. He built PG Lane. He gave the mic to his folks, from King to Town of Leon to West Coast up-and-comers. He didn't just win solo. He brought his whole region with him. That's what legends do. That's how Pac did it. That's how Hov did it. That's how Kendrick's doing it now. Meanwhile, Drake, he out here co-signing Smiley like that's some kind of favor, trapping artists in OVO like a museum where nobody gets out alive. Toronto had the chance to be a pipeline, a movement, but instead it became a mirror of how selfish Drake really been all along. And when it finally came time for the city to choose, they ain't hesitate. They cheered for the other side, not because Kendrick pandered, not because he bribed them, but because Kendrick spoke truth, moved with purpose, and gave him something real, something to believe in. Drake had a decade to do that. He didn't. And now, fam, now he's out here blaming the fans. He's letting his people spin the narrative like Toronto failed him. Nah, that's delusional. Toronto didn't fail Drake. Drake failed Toronto over and over again. And when you fail your people long enough, they remember. They move on. They don't chant your name no more. That's why this moment hits different, because it ain't just about chart positions or diss tracks anymore. It's about energy, respect, legacy. And the truth is, Drake lost the one thing you can't fake your way through: love. You can rent attention, you can buy streams, you can boost a rollout, but love, you gotta earn that. And the second Kendrick gave the Six something worth feeling again, they dropped Drake like a bad habit, just like that. And honestly, that's beautiful. That's hip hop, that's accountability in real time. So where does Drake go from here? Honestly, he might have to disappear for a minute, because no album, no tour, no collab gonna fix this. This is deeper than a PR crisis. This is existential. If the city you branded your entire image around just clowned your career funeral in real time, you gotta reevaluate everything. This ain't just the fall of a pop star. This is the unraveling of a persona, the collapse of a mask that only worked as long as the people played along. And now that the mask is cracked, the ego's exposed, and the fans have turned, Drake can't hide behind the lights no more. And the wildest part, Kendrick never even had to say a word this week. He ain't tweet, he ain't do no press run, he ain't jump on live streams. He just showed up, performed, and let the people decide. And the people, they picked truth, they picked bars, they picked legacy, they picked Kendrick. So now we here. The Six has been flipped. Drake is in the shadow of the very city he used to claim. The fans ain't just indifferent. They celebrating his downfall. They treating Not Like Us like a national anthem. And honestly, it might be the coldest L we ever seen a superstar take, not just cause of what he lost, but because of how personal it was. You got dropped by your own block. That's pain you can't ghostwrite your way out of. So let's be real. This ain't just a loss. This is the beginning of the end. The mask is gone. The throne is empty. And the Six, it belongs to someone else now. Let me know what y'all think down below. Is this Drake's rock bottom? Can he bounce back? Or has Kendrick already sealed the fate? Because if the city you built your whole name on is now screaming the track that ended you, then maybe you was never really the sixth god to begin with. And that's the realest bar of them all. If you made it this far, you already know what time it is. Drop a like so the whole culture can witness this fall in real time. And hit that subscribe button so you never miss a second of the chaos. Because this Drake versus Kendrick saga, it's only getting crazier from here. Comment below. Do you think Drake can come back from this? Or is the sixth god officially done? Let's talk about it.
Toronto lights dim, Roger Center breathing, Kendrick stepping out, crowd already screaming, used to chant six God, now they say not like us, city chose a king and it ain't who they trust, Drake verse Kendrick years deeper than the charts, it's the sixth God falling while the real one sparks, legacy in ashes, Roger's crowd on fire, used to wear the crown, now they chant for the higher, from LeBron to Canada, the shit symbolic. Drake dropped a single, Kendrick dropped a promise, not like a saint a track, it's a citywide shift, Six turned on his son, that betrayal's a gift.
He lost Toronto, lost the Six, Not Like Us is the new anthem mix, Drake dethroned, it's a new rap era, Kendrick got him chanting louder than ever, not like us, they scream it proud, not like us, they love that sound. He ran the city till the city ran him out. This the moment that they flipped the crown.
Talking legacy lost, not a Spotify play. Talking crowd singing Kendrick in the mayor's parade. OVO fest dead, Roger Center revived. This ain't rap beef, it's a culture divide. It's like if Nas got booed in Queensbridge, Jay in Brooklyn, fans chanting for a West Coast prince. Toronto didn't flinch, they made the choice. Not like us playing loud like freedom's voice.
Used to be your home, now it's just a ghost. Billboards fade, but the crowd remembers most. City cried once, now they laugh through the pain. Drake dropped to Mazza, not even close to flame.
Breaking news, the 6 no longer rides for Drizzy. Kendrick Lamar makes history in enemy territory. That's how they framed it, but we seen it raw. Crowds that used to worship now want nothing at all. From Smiley flops to Kendrick's ovation, Drake's grip losing, that's the revelation. He ain't the face of the North, just a ghost of it. Whole scene shifting and he the cause of it.
He lost Toronto, lost the 6. Not like us is the new anthem mix. Drake dethroned, it's a new rap era. Kendrick got him chanting louder than ever. Not like us, they scream it proud. Not like us, they love that sound. He ran the city till the city ran him out. This the moment that they flipped the crown. Is he paying you